Just a few housekeeping reminders before we get started. Please remember to maintain your socially distanced seating arrangements while you're here in the auditorium, being mindful of all COVID protocols during the performance and when you're out in the lobby. Also, please notice the exits behind you and to either side, just noting where the lighted exit signs are in the unlikely event that we have to evacuate the auditorium. If you have a cell phone with you, which I'm imagining all of you do, please either turn it off, put it on airplane mode, or at least put it on silence before the production begins. All right, thank you very much for coming this afternoon and enjoy the show.
Papa?
Over here.
What are you doing?
This is where I saw her last.
This is morbid, Papa.
Her last day at the Dials. The other girls threw a little party. 30 to 40 girls on the floor.
Here.
And me watching over them.
We shouldn't be in here. This building's been condemned.
And the business with the brushes? It wasn't my idea. It was Von Sashaki's idea, his invention.
It was years ago, Papa.
People blamed me for that, but I wasn't the technical man. I had my shareholders to think about. Gentlemen, we stand today at the threshold of a new era, an era of ingenuity, an era of possibility, marked by the marriage of commerce and science. Radium, my friends, is the fruit of that marriage, and like the automobile before it, like the telephone or the telegraph, this miracle element began as a novelty and is now a necessity of daily life. Luminous watches, luminous dials. These are agents of victory in Europe. Now radium is about to become the agent of a new victory, the coming victory over cancer.
Arthur, what a day.
Dan, what did I tell you? They loved us.
Did you see Von Sasaki? White as a sheet.
He's here?
Back of the hall.
I'm surprised he had the nerve.
Hold on, boys. Miss Wiley. Dan, Charlie, you remember Miss Wiley of the Consumers League?
Gentlemen.
Miss Wiley was our valued partner in last spring's laundry crisis.
Miss Wiley, no more complaints, I hope, from the housewives in Orange?
Oh, the laundry is fine. Thank you, Dr. Lehman.
Ought to be. We spent a lot of money on those filters.
The fact is, I'm here on that other matter.
Your letter. Now's not the best time, Miss Wiley.
I was hoping you would answer the immediate question.
I'll answer it. There's no white phosphorus in the paint, Miss Wiley.
But the young lady's condition...
There is no white phosphorus anywhere on the property.
Then how do you explain the bone decay in her jaw?
This is one of our girls we're talking about?
A former employee. She worked here about 2 years ago.
Why don't you talk to her current employer then?
She's not working currently. She's too ill.
We're sorry to hear that, Miss Wiley, but you can rest assured we're taking your concerns very seriously.
We're consulting with the Harvard School of Industrial Medicine.
Do you mean Dr. Drinker?
You know him.
Fairly well. The chair of our league is a colleague of his.
Then we can agree. Whatever Dr. Drinker concludes, you'll be satisfied.
I expect so. Thank you, Mr. Reader. Gentlemen.
Have some cake, Miss Wiley.
Whatever the trouble is, I'm sure it's not anything towards the plant.
We'll look into it, but in the meantime, Charlie, you just keep smiling.
Lily, carnations, and orchids. You know how Amelia loved orchids?
Those were flags.
Orchids.
Flags.
I know an orchid when I see one. I mean, purple orchids. The church was like the botanical garden, a big square carnations.
Sounds like a pretty service anyhow.
Surprised I wasn't there, Grace. What happened? Don't keep out late in the pictures?
Nothing that interesting. Mom had work to do, so I took the kids to the park.
Girls! It was already gone. Now then. We're going back to Old Waypoint brushes. We was just too much pain in the cloth.
But
Yes, Grace? Something you wish to say?
Dr. Von Sashaki said we shouldn't do that. Said it's unsanitary.
Unsanitary? I can't hardly believe he'd say such a thing. That man invented the paint. And you're not to be sharing brushes. Each girl is to get her own brush, and you're not to get a new one until the old one is so bad you can't make a point no more.
How can you quote her like that?
It's not for us to be asking questions, is it, girls? It's for us to do the work.
It's not us to be asking questions.
Here's an instruction for you, McNeil. Let some starch out of your corset.
Was she at the service?
McNeil, are you kidding?
Dr. Von Sashaki was, though, and Mr. Router. Oh, and Grace, you know the fellow from Crystal Plaza, the one with the red hair? What's his name?
The tall one with the freckles?
It's Jerry.
I think it's George.
No, it's Jerry. Jerry Mallon. He's the one always talking to Amelia in the day room.
Grace, when the muscle's over, he goes to the coffin like this. He goes.
Really?
Really?
Aw, so what if he did?
So what? He was in love with her. That's a lot. Don't you think so, Grace?
I mean, he had to be if he did that.
And can you imagine if he loved her, never told her, never could bring himself to say, because she was so beautiful, and he was so shy. Now it's too late. He'll never tell her, and he'll never get a chance again.
Poor Amelia.
Poor Amelia.
Poor kid.
Her family took it awful bad, Grace. All of them crying. Even her father, just bent like a baby.
And you know why?
Because their daughter had died?
No, what she died from.
Don't go through his story.
Not a story. Her sister told us. No reason Grace shouldn't know.
Know what? What? Amelia?
Her father's fit to be tied too. 6 girls at home and none of them going to dance ever again. All because Amelia upped and died from syphilis. I can't help it if that's what she died from.
But Amelia was ever so nice.
She got around way more than we knew.
Girls, your attention please. Gentlemen here to make an announcement.
And to explain some changes, yes? Yes, as you may have heard, Dr. Von Sashaki is stepping down as company president. He'd like to take this opportunity
to make a goodbye. Ladies, some of you have noticed you were little girls coming here to work during war. 200, 300, 500 dials a day.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yes, thank you, Doctor. Now, girls, the doctor's a very busy man and must be getting back to work. So let us wish him the best of luck in his new business ventures.
And Mr. Reader, good luck wish to you also with the new direction you intend the company to take.
New
With
direction?
a slow down dial painting.
Now, Doctor.
In business moving to the medical market, there'd be lots of changes, yes?
What the doctor's referring to is that some of our larger customers are starting up their own dial painting studios.
Which means less work for our girls here.
In the short run. However, the Waterbury Clock Company is going to need help setting up its new studio. We plan to make the announcement next week, but we'll make it now. Mrs. McNeil?
We'll be asking some of you girls to go on up there. Catherine Schraub was one, and Louise Conlon. I have the list downstairs.
We'll post it later today. Now, girls, as we are all on the clock, let's get back to work.
Thank you, ladies. My best wishes to you.
Let's back to work with you girls.
So what do you think, Catherine? You gonna take that job?
I will if you do.
Tommy would have a fit.
Oh, come on, Grace. Just for a few months. It would be fun. Would it be fun, Irene? Irene?
Irene, honey, you okay?
Yeah, why wouldn't I be? What?
Your mouth is bleeding.
$35 a week, and she ups and quits the place.
More to life than money.
Wait until you get to be my age, with a house full of kids. You'll be thankful for every penny you put by.
We got money put by.
How much?
Enough to get married on.
Don't take much to get married on. Do you have enough to stay married on?
You let us get married, we'll find out.
You still eating, Tommy?
It's good.
You're gonna get fat.
Gotta keep his strength up. He works hard for his money.
Ma, don't start.
Didn't say nothing. Was your father with the roof over it? Most girls would give their eye teeth for a job like that.
Ma.
Good money, easy work. Lots of nice looking fellas around the plant.
You didn't tell me about them, Grace.
And Austin quits the place. I'm tired of it, she says. Are you tired of a paycheck, I says. Who needs a paycheck, she says. I got a boyfriend to take me out on Saturdays.
She said that?
You know I didn't. For your information, I do have a job. I started at the bank on Monday.
What's it pay?
Enough.
Enough? You know what that means, Tom. Don't come close to what they paid at the Radium plant.
It's office work.
Office work? I guess that means you'll be spending more money on clothes.
Boy, she steamed at you.
I don't see what difference it makes, as long as I'm working somewhere.
Don't make no difference to me. I just thought you liked it up there.
I did, but I was up there for 4 years.
So, I've been delivering mail 8 years, and I plan to keep on delivering mail another 10 to 20 years, if I'm lucky. Steady work, Grace. Helps you sleep at night.
Close your eyes.
What for?
I've got a surprise for you.
You want me to pull the shades?
Not that kind of surprise, just close your eyes. Now, open.
Wallpaper.
For the baby's room.
Baby's room? You won't kiss me and you're talking about babies.
Well, there's gonna be babies eventually, Tommy.
Well, sure, but you know, Grace, most girls, they get married before they decorate the nursery.
Plan ahead for once. Pick one.
Some kind of test?
It's just wallpaper.
It is some kind of test.
Pick one, Tommy.
That one.
Really?
The other one, then.
But which one do you like?
They're both nice.
This one's pretty, don't you think?
That one, then.
But I want you to like it too.
If you like it, I'll like it. Wallpaper is wallpaper.
No, it's not. You have to pick something you can stand to look at for 20 years.
Same way you pick women?
Keep it up, mister, and you ain't never getting that kiss.
Fine, this one. This one hands down.
I like this one too. The muted yellow goes good with either a girl or a boy's room. And in the meantime, we can use it for other things. Like a painting studio, maybe.
A painting studio, maybe. You get enough of painting at the Radium plant?
Not the kind I wanted to, Tommy. I just want some time to myself, where I can do watercolors or oil paints. Maybe portraits in oil. You could paint your picture if you'd like.
Why not? Paint a big old picture of me and we're hanging in the outhouse. All our friends will come around just so they can look at it while they use the can.
The things you say sometimes.
Grace, you want to paint pictures? Paint pictures. I ain't gonna stop you.
You say that now, but wait until you come home late into some night. Some Christmas, maybe, where you had double the mail on your route, and a dog took after you, and a grandma kept you sitting on her porch telling you all about her grandkids, and you wouldn't tell her you couldn't talk, I know you. So you come home cranky, just wanting your dinner, and there I am, with my drop cloth on the floor, my easel, and my paints everywhere. Your dinner? Nowhere in sight. What would you say then?
Better be a picture of me you painting.
Where's my dinner? That's what you'd say. Where's my dinner?
I'd still admire the painting. Just want to look at it on full stomach is all. So, how'd I do? Pick the right wallpaper?
I don't know. Maybe I'll go look at stripes.
Stripes, polka dots, I don't care. Tell your mom we ain't waiting no more. We'll just run off.
We're not running off, Tommy. We're gonna do this right. A nice church wedding with flowers, and then a week on the seashore. Just you and me. And then we'll get a little place of our own. You'll see. It'll be worth the wait.
Your mouth hurt you?
Dentist wants to pull another tooth in the back.
What's a tooth?
Harriet? Harriet? Harriet, you come down from that tree at once.
I'm waiting for Papa.
When he gets here, I'll send him up after you.
Harriet,
Papa, I can see clear to the church.
do you see your grandfather?
You think this is funny.
She's 9 years old, Diane.
I'm trying to raise a daughter, not a son.
Old time's on your side. In a couple of years, you'll lose all interest in trees and develop a fascination with boys.
What's this?
Something to give you vitality.
You think I need vitality?
That's what it says on the bottle.
Is it pure?
We're a supplier. Want to try it?
If he'll give me vitality, how could I refuse? You know, your father came by to see me today.
Another hard luck case.
6 children at home, all under the age of 4.
Let me guess. The husband has just been laid off from the brickyard.
How did you know?
He came by to see me yesterday. It's never enough with him to just have ordinary ambitions. You have to have a mission in life.
And you do.
I can't hand out jobs that don't exist, Diane.
What about Dan?
Dan.
Can't he use some help in the laboratory?
Dan needs trained technicians, not some bricklayer.
There must be something you can do.
And get my checkbook.
Artie, this man needs a job, not charity. What is your father always says? A working man needs to work. It wears on his soul.
Wears on his soul, not to work. If it's a matter of his soul, then that's different. And I'll talk to Dan.
You're a good man, Artie.
You do love being married to the company president.
It has its advantages.
I make no promises, Diane.
Okay, no promises.
To your health.
Sorry, couldn't find anything on the shelf.
It's Rudolph.
I'm sorry, Rudolph?
The girl I'm asking about, Irene Rudolph, my cousin.
Did she file a complaint?
No, the dentist.
Dr. Neff.
He said she may have false jaw like they got in the match factories, and he was going to complain to the health department, but it's been 6 months and he hasn't heard.
Falsy jaw, you say?
Catherine, maybe it is like the doctor said. Maybe it was a blood infection.
But what's it from?
Dirt. You get infections from dirt.
From dirt? Her face puffs like a pumpkin. Her jaw is so bad she can't eat no more. You think you get that from little dirt? You get it from phosphorus.
Phosphorus.
Yeah, go ahead and laugh. You won't laugh so hard 6 months from now when you in here asking after Grace.
It's just a toothache, Catherine.
That's how it's hard for Arlene. You ate Grace, so you'll be so sick and weak you can't stand up. Your gums will act so bad you can't open your mouth.
Stop it, Catherine.
Your face so swollen you can't stand aside of yourself.
I said stop it.
Yeah, a toothache and a backache. And what else was it said, Grace? A sore leg that won't quit?
What's a leg?
It's from my new job at a bank. Standing all day.
It's not from the bank and you know it.
Irene Rudolph?
That's it.
Nothing.
Huh?
The company's in full compliance with all state and labor regulations. See for yourself.
Radius of command and sync?
They screen a number of the employees. The blood work is all normal. A copy of the report's right there. Harvard study.
All right. Let's get some lunch.
I want to find out the complaint.
Oh, brother.
Catherine, these people, they seem awfully busy.
3 surgeries, Grace. I wanted to cut her again. She said no. She knew. what was left of her job was so bad. I couldn't look at her. Irene was so afraid of being alone, and I left her alone. And she died in the middle of the night, and nobody was with her.
I'm sorry, we'd like to fill out another form, please.
Is the girl still sick?
She's dead.
Wait right here.
Dr. Flynn, it was awful nice of you to see me.
Not at all, my dear, not at all.
I told the surgeon I was coming today, so he gave me the results of my blood work.
Ah, very good. I must say, Miss Fryer, your blood looks better than mine.
It does?
That's what happens to an old man who smokes. Now tell me, what else is troubling you?
My feet and my back, mostly. I've been in a back brace for 6 months now.
And this started before or after you left the company?
After.
And you've been off the plant for how long?
About 2 years. I know the girl who died from it, Irene Rudolph. Dr. Neff thinks it's from the radium.
Rudolph. Oh yes. Terrible thing. Vincent's angina, that's an ulcerated condition of the mouth.
From the radium?
Oh, no. It's an unfortunate and rare result of poor dental care. So let that be a lesson to you. Always brush your teeth.
But I also saw all these reports in the news.
Miss Fryer, don't tell me you pay any attention to the newspapers.
But
those stories are not scientific. No, you must listen to science and forget about all that nonsense in the paper. Because I can tell you right now, radium has nothing to do with what's ailing you.
Then what is ailing me?
Poor diet, Miss Fryer. Poor diet. What you have is a vitamin deficiency.
But Dr. Neff said...
You must eat more fresh fruit.
Hard to do in the winter.
And raw meat as well, particularly raw cow's liver. Oh, no, I'm a scientist, Miss Fryer. I take purely scientific interest in your case. By allowing me to examine you, you're helping me advance my studies. I thank you. Call me anytime, day or night.
Thank you, Dr. Flynn.
Happy to help, my dear.
Dr. Frederick Flynn, PhD in Physiology, Columbia University. PhD? That's not a real doctor.
My findings, Mr. Reader?
He's seen half of a dozen girls. Were they here? He's worked for the company.
An objective evaluation, I trust?
The source of my funding has no bearing on my research.
And I let that man examine me?
A medical examination? No. I merely consulted with her.
And how are you doing on the rest of your report?
The animal studies I conducted reveal no adverse effect of radium. The problem, as you suggested, is one of personal hygiene.
You were right, Catherine. Those people, they'll say anything, do anything.
Except the right thing.
We're gonna make them, Catherine. We're gonna make sure somebody hears about this.
A statement of fees and expenses?
Mr. Lee will draw you a check.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, we do not have to accept injustice. We can use our powers as consumers to influence the practices of those who would wish to profit from our patronage. Thank you.
Excuse me, Miss Wiley. My name's Grace Fryer. Someone from the health department said you might be able to help me.
My goodness, yes, Miss Fryer. I've been meaning to call on you.
Me and my friend Catherine, we made multiple complaints to the health department, and we still haven't heard anything. So we started to talk to some lawyers.
But they all said it was too late.
Something about the law won't allow it.
The statute of limitations, it's 2 years.
One lawyer wanted $1,000 up front. I already spent all the money we had saved for our wedding on doctors, dentists, and hospitals, and I still don't know what's wrong. And Tom here says he don't mind.
We just need to settle her debts.
So we can move on with things.
Oh, if we could get some compensation?
Can we?
Miss Fryer, tell me, just how far are you willing to go with this?
Ma'am?
Suppose I do find a lawyer to take your case, and the company says, well, here's some money for you, only you are to tell no one what we've agreed to.
Confidential settlement.
That don't seem right.
It isn't right, but that is what they will do. They'll try to buy your silence. Is it for sale?
No, ma'am.
Miss Fryer, if you would be willing to put your own needs aside for the moment, we can stop this company dead in its tracks.
But how?
Hit them where it matters most, their public image. When every newspaper in America tells your story, how you suffered, how you were sorely treated, how the company denied all responsibility, believe me, Miss Fryer, or the reader will come to the table with his hat in his hands.
And then I get my compensation?
I know, it's a little frightening.
At the moment, I'm more angry than I am frightened.
Good, you hold on to that anger, Miss Fryer. Just be sure no one else sees it.
Ma'am?
Public sympathy. That's our strongest weapon, and the public doesn't have sympathy for an angry woman.
December 4th, 1927, Jack Youngwood reporting for the Newark Ledger. Newark's first was for news.
Nancy Jane Harlem for the New York Graphic, the New York Graphic's only girl reporter.
On the strange case of the Radium girls,
who claimed they were poisoned at the hands of their employer.
Ask me, it's all a sham.
What do you mean? Those girls are very, very sick.
Sick of working, sure.
Doctors say the Radium girls have only a year to live.
Only 1 year to live and 250 grand to spend.
What would you do with that kind of money?
What would you do with $250,000?
I'll buy a wardrobe like Irene Castle.
I'd give it all to charity. I'd play the stock market.
I'd buy my wife a diamond size of New Hampshire.
I'd use it to pay off my medical bills and help my father afford the second mortgage he took out on our house to afford my last operation.
Aww. Pretty Grace Fryer sits at home.
Suffering bravely through this entire ordeal.
It hurts to smile, but I smile anyway. If I don't smile, then I'll go crazy.
But it must get to you sometimes.
Knowing what you've been through.
And the company getting fed of your labor.
And all they have to say about it is?
No comment.
I like to focus more on how things will be after justice prevails.
What a fine example of womanhood. We can only aspire to bear our cross as nobly as this young girl.
Miss Berry, I've been in this game for a long time, and I know when a liar tries her case in a newspaper, she doesn't have much of a case.
What's your proposal, Mr. Markley?
$1,500 for each girl.
That's not even a year's wages.
We think it's very generous, considering your case won't survive the statute of limitations.
We believe the court will find that it does.
The court can't rewrite the law. 2 years out of date of injury, your clients are out of time.
2 years that the cause of injury is discovered.
Very creative, Miss Berry. I admire your imagination. But you have a long way before you convince the judge.
And in the meantime, Mr. Markley, the press will continue to take great interest in the story and in the U.S. Radium Corporation's complete indifference to its workers.
More good press for the Consumers League, and you accuse us of exploiting these girls.
The arrogance of that man!
Tell me again the purpose of these articles, Miss Wiley.
Public sympathy. It's the engine of reform.
Yeah, but how does it help the girls to read a dozen different newspapers a day that they only have 1 year to live?
Miss Berry, surely you can see the company cares nothing about the girls it's poisoned, but the average housewife cares very much. These women shop. They buy watches. Markley can be as smug as he likes, but the Consumers League campaign is working, and he knows it. That is why he was here today.
I hope you're right, Miss Wiley.
Public sympathy, Miss Berry. Wait and see.
Dear Miss Schaub, I read of your sad story in the Boston Globe, and I'm sorry for your plight. I would like to share with you girls the key to my own good health at the age of 92. It's called Christian Science.
Dear Miss Fryer, I read of your woeful situation in the Atlanta Constitution and have a solution, Venazine, a wonder tonic made from all natural ingredients. We would like to offer you a lifetime supply of Venazine in exchange for exclusive rights to use your pictures in our advertisements.
Dear girl, I read about you in the Billings Gazette. I run 100 head of cattle and do very well for myself. I've always longed for a companion, and I'm well prepared to offer you a comfortable home in your final hours. Surely you deserve a few fleeting hours of happiness. Sincerely, your admirer, Leonard F. Watkins. P.S. Encloses my picture.
You alright?
Bleeding again.
Maybe we should go. You need your rest.
Afraid to. Might not wake up.
Oh, look at all this mail, Catherine. Miss Wiley said folk would be on our side, and she sure was right.
What if we don't win?
We're gonna win.
What if we don't? We'll be on the street, and you and Tom, you never get married.
Catherine, all we have to do is get on the stand. Just think of the look on Mr. Reader's face when the judge rules for us.
They didn't have no vanilla, so I got some chocolate.
Took you long enough.
Don't get on me. I had 6 people stop me on the way over here. All of them reporters and all of them asking after you.
Waiting for me to die.
No one is waiting for you to die.
It's true. One of them called my mother. His cat have died. When she said no, he sounded disappointed.
Evening, girls. How about a picture?
For the love of Mike, what are you doing?
We need some pictures for the graphics exclusive.
What exclusive?
$5,000 sound good to you? Perhaps you're familiar with Bernard McFadden.
Who's that faith healer?
Herbalist Mr. Creeder. Bernard McFadden's patented herbal therapy is just the thing to get the girls back on their feet, and they gotta go pay for it. All we ask is exclusive rights to use their story from here on out.
Wait, they're serious.
Let me get this straight. You want to pay us $5,000 to go see this Bernard McFadden guy?
Easy money, huh?
Let me see.
The graphic always does their business on the up and up.
Grace, what exactly does your father own a house?
I don't know.
And that last hospital bill? A couple hundred at least.
At least.
And all we do is talk to this herbalist fella?
We'll have to get our money's worth. A regular series of pictures following the course of your illness, treatment, recovery, or otherwise.
And you print whatever you want.
Maybe we add some color. Everybody has color.
No deal.
Grace, you'd take it if it came from the company.
The company owes us a lot more than that.
If we ever see it.
You're gonna talk to the reporters anyhow. I'll get something out of it.
He's right, you know. You girls can cash in big on this. Anybody can sympathize with the plight of some poor girl facing certain death with no hope of fulfillment in motherhood.
I think it's time you go. My friend needs her rest.
At least think about it.
Sure, I understand you're worried what people will say. But hey, look out for number one. That's the way. Why should you sit back and keep your nose clean when everybody's up their elbows in it?
Gentlemen, I have treated a number of girls saying they got sick here. One of them, the girl rotted so bad, I just lifted the bone out of her mouth.
That's all right, Dr. Neff. You can put that away.
Maybe you'd rather look at it on an x-ray, Dr. Lehman. This was an expensive case to treat, and never did get no compensation.
We sympathize, Dr. Neff, but what has that got to do with us?
Hear this straight. There's going to be a lot of girls saying they're sick here, so maybe we can play ball. You give me a list of girls that work here. I'll see to it there ain't no more lawsuits.
You think you could cure them?
I couldn't put a cure, no. I would examine them and come up with a favorable diagnosis, PSA or something else.
You'd persuade them not to sue?
Correct. Quite a few will die a natural death, and the others will put off until the statute of limitation kicks in.
Why would these girls come to you?
Anybody would if you're in charge of nothing.
Because we'd be paying you?
We understand each other, Mr. Reader.
What exactly are you asking, Dr. Neff?
$10,000 for my trouble so far. $2 per every visit, plus expenses.
Absolutely not. Your proposal's immoral, and we want no part of it.
Immoral? You're a fine one to be talking about morals. When you're at your own house, you're going to ready to testify.
Those are expert witnesses.
Paid lackeys is more like it.
Good day, Dr. Neff. Mr. Lee will see you to the door.
All right. You won't play ball with me? Somebody else will. Believe me, there's plenty of what folks wanted what I got.
Dan, Charlie, I want you to write up statements about what happened this morning, and we'll send them to the State Dental Society.
The Neff will see who's playing ball and who isn't.
Maybe we shouldn't be so quick to shake this off.
What are you proposing?
Retain him as an expert.
Like Flynn?
Dan, Flynn is a highly respected professor at Columbia University. Neff's a neighborhood dentist.
Flynn treated some of the girls.
He didn't treat them, he consulted with them.
He dispensed medical advice, Arthur.
It wasn't medical advice, it was a scientific opinion.
Which he was well paid. We do the same with Neff. It'll keep him quiet.
It's getting out of hand.
We can handle Neff.
It's not Neff I'm worried about, it's von Sashaki.
What about von Sashaki?
He's going to testify for the girls.
All right. Well, then whatever Barry's paying, we just offer more.
You don't understand guilt, do you, Charlie? A guilty man has a tremendous need to unburden himself, a need to be free. So no matter what we offer him, von Sashaki will never testify for us, never!
Every penny. Every penny I put by in the last 7 years has been for this company. Why? Because of you, Arthur.
We were fooled, Charlie.
You said it was a sure thing. Why work for von Sashaki when we can work for ourselves? Remember that one?
Charlie, please.
Von Sashaki fooled all of us. All we can do now is clean it up the best we can.
Then you better pray this all goes down in civil court. Because if it comes down to criminal charges, do not count on me.
Criminal charges? For what?
He didn't tell you? Drinker's report.
What about Drinker's report?
It's proprietary. We're under no obligations to share anything.
We did share it. With the Department of Labor.
He sent what they needed to see. Right, Arthur?
Arthur? My God.
Scientists, government men, they have no idea what it takes to run a business. Von Sashaki laughed. He laughed at the very idea of promotion. But look at us. We're the largest suppliers of radium in the world. The largest in the world. You know what it took for us to get here. So do you think I could stand idly by letting our good name be dragged through the mud?
But the Department of Labor, Arthur.
We just needed time, Dan.
They could shut us down for this.
Just a little time to set things right.
You want time? Let's see what Markley has to say about that. It's new evidence, right? Surely they can do something with that. months. 3 months to study an x-ray? That's outrageous.
Miss Sperry.
How are we going to hold out 3 more months? The girls could barely make it into court today. And Grace, what am I supposed to say? Go home, get rest? That's the best I can do?
Perhaps this will help. It came in the afternoon mail.
Catherine Drinker. Any relation to Cecile Drinker?
She's his wife, a respectable industrial hygienist in her own right. She worked with him on his study.
Haven't we already seen this document?
You've only seen part of it. This is the complete report. Miss Drinker was particularly disturbed to read the article in the Ledger where Mr. Reader says her study clears the company.
They doctored the report.
Reader pulled out a single page listing the blood conditions of the healthiest employees and passed it off as the whole thing. It doesn't look so bad by itself, does it?
We can use this.
That should impress the judge.
Miss Wiley, I'm not going to hold out 3 more months to use this. So why don't we call your friends at the New York World, and since Reader won't let us present our evidence in court, he can read it in the paper.
Very bad.
You didn't read it?
I make it a point not to these days.
At the club today, somebody actually said to me, "Is it true? Did your husband poison these women?" I said, "Mrs. Middleton, if you think it's true, why would you associate with me?"
What do you want me to say, Diane? That I knew we were poisoning people, but I didn't want to stop because we were just making too much money?
Is it true?
Is that what you think?
What would you like me to think?
For God's sake, Diane, don't you see what's happening here? It's Von Sachaki, jealous of our success, so he's feeding information to the Consumers League so they can railroad us.
Why would the Consumers League...
Bunch of radical women. Do-gooders, half of them Reds, probably socialists. That's what they are. Same thing with that club you belong to.
I can't, I'm sorry.
You're gonna quit club.
Quit the club?
And stop talking to that idiot Mrs. Middleton. She's
You're not making any sense.
None of those women know anything. You don't know anything.
Did you lie to the Department of Labor?
I have a fiduciary duty to the company.
I can't listen to this.
Diana, I have documents, articles, people with tumors the size of baseballs, radium therapy, the tumors disappear.
I'm tired. I'm going upstairs.
Diane, you can't really believe I would set out to poison people.
13 girls have died.
People die every day. Young, old children, younger than Harriet, die every day.
They worked for you.
They also worked other places, Diane. I have a report from Frederick Flynn, an expert in industrial hygiene, who says that our company and these illnesses have nothing in common.
Then what could the cause be?
I don't know, Diane. I really don't know, but say you believe me. There's no point to anything if you don't believe me.
Artie,
you save lives.
You save lives.
It's all for you. It always has been. Don't let that be another reporter.
Arthur! Is that Mr. Lee?
Charlie, for God's sake, what are you doing here?
Stan. Arthur. He's dead.
What are you talking about?
We just saw him last week.
He died this morning.
But they were just here. Dan and Louise were just here.
They've already done the autopsy. A severe anemia. The ledger's running on page 1.
They're blaming the radium?
I've issued a statement at 8 o'clock.
Poor Louise. We should go see her. We should go see her right now.
I wouldn't do that.
Why ever not?
She's planning to sue.
Louise.
She's filing a wrongful death action. Now, I've set up a statement with the paper. Dr. Daniel Lehman, company chemist for 8 years, always in poor health, recently in decline.
But Dan was never sickly. He was always on the golf course or sailing or in their garden. He kept a beautiful garden.
Charlie, why don't we pick this up in the morning?
Of course. I'm sorry to bring you the bad news, Mrs. Reeder.
Charlie can be a bit excessive at times.
You needn't explain.
But we have to say something. The shareholders will expect it.
We're going to get rid of this.
Diane.
We'll have no more in the house.
I'm in too far to quit.
I really didn't expect you to.
I'll tell you what we should have done. We should have taken that reporter up on her offer when we had the chance. That's what we should have done.
$5,000? Don't make me laugh.
We could have talked her up too. Because I'll tell you what, they'd have paid. I'll tell you what else we should have done.
Stop telling me what we should have done.
Alright, keep your shirt on.
Which one you think, the red or the blue?
What's Barry say? Is she gonna go back to the company?
I like the red, but it don't fit so good these days.
Is she gonna try to talk the company up a bit?
Miss Wiley says one more interview should do the trick. Might as well look good, right?
It's worth a shot, don't you think? What if they came up to 5,000? Would you take it then?
Let them come up. I'm not caving.
Let's call it a settlement.
Settlement. Another way for them to hide.
Let them hide.
Then they win.
So they win. They're gonna win anyways.
You wanna know what I heard this morning? They put LED screens in the laboratories for the technicians. We didn't get LED screens.
What are we doing here?
100 girls on a floor, and you think they're gonna spend that kind of money on us? And Miss Wiley says they're planning on moving away from here.
Grace.
Going across the river.
What are we doing here? I thought the idea was you'd settle your debts, get a better doctor, and we'd get on with things.
Get on with things?
You're still wearing my ring.
Oh, Tommy.
Look, Grace, there's a house for sale in my brother's neighborhood. 2 rooms up, 2 down. It's not much, but it's a start. You'll like it. It's already got flower wallpaper and everything. Best of all, 3 blocks from a school.
What do we need school for?
Planned ahead for once.
Tommy, what did you think was gonna happen here? You think after all this is over, everything's just gonna go back to the way it was?
Why wouldn't it?
I had to go see the surgeon again today.
Huh?
Says I've got fluid.
Okay.
And then there'll be more.
We deal with it when it comes.
And then more, and still more, and more. How can you not see that? How can you talk about families and kids when you know there's nothing?
Grace, all I want is for us to be together right now. I want to come home to you at night, to my home, my wife. I'm too old to be living like this in-between life. Grace, come on.
I should have done this a long time ago.
You're not getting enough sleep.
Tommy, don't make me say it.
You just need some rest.
Tommy.
You get some rest. I'll be back to see you tomorrow.
Tommy. Tommy! Don't do this to me! Tommy!
February 21st, 1928. To Mr. Monberry, from Harrison Martland, Medical Examiner, Essex County. We studied the remains of the deceased Amelia Madja. Our study reveals the following. Radioactive substances have been found in large quantities in the upper jaw, lower jaw, and lumbar vertebrae. No evidence of syphilis was found.
Body is radioactive.
Bone of dead girl kicks off gamma rays.
Catherine Wiley of the Consumers League declares, new evidence shows company lied.
Dr. Joseph Neff, a Newark dentist who treated Amelia, has turned over portions of the jawbone that he removed from her mouth. This x-ray film shows that the jawbone is still radioactive 5 years after the girl died.
Will this make your case?
Will this force a settlement?
Make our case? No. This, gentlemen, will make our case.
Last night, in a graphic exclusive, the founder of the U.S. Radium Corporation breaks his long silence with this shocking announcement.
Radium is one of the most dangerous substances known to a man.
Dr. Von Tashaki, is it true you assisted with the autopsy?
Yeah, given my expertise in radium extraction, I was able to determine that Ms. Magee absorbed enough radium to kill 10 people.
What does it say about mild radium therapy?
Radium is responsible for the death of these poor girls. It should be considered a dangerous substance.
Do you agree with the doctor's prognosis that the radium girls only have 1 more year to live?
From what I've seen, we'll be lucky to last that long.
Grace, wake up. It's almost 4 o'clock.
Ma?
Mr. Markley will be here any minute.
Did Miss Wiley stop by?
Miss Wiley?
They had to take Catherine to the hospital last night. If she dies, it's over.
Sweetheart, I'll tell you what. When we get that check and we pay the bank and the doctor and the coal man, there will still be plenty left for you and Tom to help you get started.
There's nothing to start, Ma.
Why do you have to be so hard on Tom? Can't you see? You just can't face the thought of you not being with us.
I have to face it. Why can't he?
Show me with your hair, Grace.
$250,000. What would you do with $250,000, Miss Fryer? Well, I don't know. Ma, you didn't tell me I had mail. They just keep writing, don't they? Mom, Miss Wiley did stop by. She left me a note.
Miss Fryer, Edward Markley.
Ma said you had some papers for me to sign?
Yes, terms spelled out, $5,000 for you. I've got a check right here. All we need is your signature.
This is a confidential settlement.
That's right.
Grace, Mr. Markley is a very busy man.
Mr. Markley, what does contributory negligence mean?
I'm not sure what you're asking.
Contributory negligence, you said it in court, means it's our fault, don't it?
Maybe you could just leave the papers, Mr. Markley.
Or maybe he could just answer the question.
Why are you doing this?
Why didn't you tell me Miss Wiley stopped by?
She'd only try and talk you out of it.
Well, what did she say about Catherine?
If you'll just leave the papers, Mr. Markley.
What did she say about Catherine?
She said it didn't look good.
Perhaps I should come back later.
Perhaps you should just answer the question, Mr. Markley, because I really like an answer. In your factory, they told us what to do and how to do it. I didn't cause trouble. I wasn't raised that way. How do you get contributory negligence out of that?
We deeply regret your situation, Ms. Fryer, but there is no evidence of tire condition by any action by the U.S. Radium Corporation.
Then why are you giving me this money?
It's a humanitarian gesture.
Humanitarian gesture? Month after month, you put us off, delay after delay, even when you knew how sick and tired and desperate we were. Humanitarian. You've been waiting on us to die.
This is a generous offer, and I advise you to take it before I withdraw it permanently.
You're just trying to bully me.
Very well then. See you in court.
Oh, yes, you will. You will see me in court, even if they have to drag me in their feet first.
You call that man back.
I'm going to court, Ma.
You know you can't win.
So what? I want those people to look at me and explain to me how it's my fault I got sick working in their factory.
Well, good old Julia.
Ma, all my life, I've done what other people told me to do. I quit school because you told me to. I put that paintbrush in my mouth because Mrs. McNeil said I should. I never once questioned. I never asked to go to school, and I never said I didn't like the taste of the paint. Even when I knew, Ma, I knew something wasn't right. When I'd lay in bed at night and see my dress hanging on the back of my closet door, all aglow, or my brush on my dresser or my shoes on the floor, there was so much light, Ma, so much light. But I never questioned it. And don't you see? They knew I wouldn't. That's what they were counting on.
I left messages with your housekeeper. I know you got the messages.
Since we're not in business together, I thought it was best not to respond.
So that's what this is about? Getting revenge?
Revenge?
Losing your company, losing your business. Now you're getting back at us by spreading lies about us.
Perhaps a cup of tea will calm your nerves down.
You never told us the pain was dangerous. You never said a word about it. Not to me, not to Dan.
I didn't know.
You didn't know. You invented the pain you didn't know. How can you lie like that?
I didn't know until it was too late, Arthur.
I wasn't the technical man. You were the technical man.
Yeah, I was a technical man. Sit down, Arthur.
I sold watches. I was a salesman.
A good one at that. Very good for the business you have. Not such a good for the science, but for the business, very smart. Always, you can find ways to cut the cost without losing the quality. That's a gift, Arthur.
Your hands, have you been dipping them in ink?
Dipping them in ink? How fond of the pretty story you are. If only it were ink. No, Dr. Martin tells me it's necrosis of the tissue. The cells, they're dying. With the dial pain train, the jaw starts. The necrosis with me in the hands.
I had no idea.
It's been a long time since we've seen each other.
How long have your hands?
The necrosis, a few months, but I've known for a while now. Ms. Wiley from the Consumers League asked me to assist Dr. Martin in testing the dial painter for radium exposure. There aren't that many people around, you know, who can measure that kind of thing. She came to me, knowing I had the equipment and, of course, the skill. I didn't believe her either, Arthur. I didn't want to believe the girls could get sick and working with my paint. I wanted to show her it was a mistake, so I agreed to help Dr. Martin and I conducted air tests on the girls. It was then that I found out when my own breath registered radioactive. Now you wish to have words with me?
I'm sorry?
Perhaps you should see Dr. Martin.
Me? What for?
You did not notice the glowing dust on your shoes when you went home at night?
How could I not? I tracked it all over the house.
You can be sure that a good deal of it's now in your lungs. Look familiar?
Our promotional piece.
An excellent promotion. How many new sales did the book account for?
I'm not exactly sure, but I like to think it helped our medical market quite a bit.
Page 96. Open it. The last chapter.
Last chapter, radium. Dangerous effects.
Dangerous effects. How many articles do you have listed there? 10? 15?
About 18, it looks like.
How far back do they go, those articles?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Look at it, the first one. What is the date?
1906.
1906. Now, let me see. When you go into court, you plan to testify that you had no idea radium was dangerous. How do you plan to do that, Arthur? when your own book says that it was? How can you claim you not know?
I never really read the book. I never read it. I hired a man to put it together for me, and then I glanced at the galleys, yeah, but I never read the book.
How do you mean you never read the book?
It was a standard arrangement. An outside company prepared the piece, and they're responsible for the content.
What you never read?
I think you'll find, Ms. Berry, that very few company presidents read their own promotional pieces word for word.
It has your name on it. You authorized the book's release, and you had final approval of the book's content, yet you claim you never read it.
Mr. Lee was in charge of our promotional efforts at that time. I entrusted those activities to him.
Now, Mr. Reader, you claim that you started the U.S. Radium Corporation in 1918?
Yes, as plant manager.
How long did you hold that position for?
4 years.
During those 4 years, how often did you venture into the studio?
Every day.
Every day? So you must have seen the girls putting brushes to their lips.
I don't recall.
You claim that you walked into the studio every day and you never saw one girl, not a single girl, put a brush to her lips?
I said I don't recall it.
No more questions.
Your witness, Mr. Markley.
We have no questions for the witness, Your Honor.
All right, please approach. I'm ready to issue my ruling.
Your Honor, we have yet to present our defense.
I understand that, Mr. Markley, but this proceeding is to determine standing. I've heard enough these last few days to make that determination. The radium in the bones of these girls is an ongoing source of poison in our systems. Nothing your witnesses can say will change that fact. In the interest of justice, I am asking that the defense rest without calling any witnesses. We can conclude this hearing today and schedule the case for trial.
All right, Your Honor.
Fine. I therefore rule that the statute of limitations has now been exceeded and the girls have standing to sue.
Your Honor, one thing. I have a very full schedule with 2 other cases pending. A key witness will not be available until the end of summer. We will not be available until September.
Your Honor.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but our chief expert witness with the institution of higher learning, this is the busiest time of year for him, and I cannot expect him to appear.
Mr. Markley is responsible for that situation. He has requested continuous delays.
Your Honor, surely you will not force us to make our defense at trial without the presence of a key witness.
All right then, trial is set for September. This hearing is adjourned.
Edward, why can't Flynn appear?
He's going to Europe.
He's going to Europe. But he's known about this for months, so why would he? Very clever, Edward. How long are you keeping this up for?
As long as necessary.
That girl, Edward, she's still staring at me. How do I make her understand that I never meant for any of this to happen?
You don't. You don't make her understand. You don't talk to her.
She looks like death.
Grace?
That man, Miss Wiley, he wouldn't look at me. Why wouldn't he look at me?
Doesn't matter. He hurt you.
How many were there?
Hundreds worked for us, dozens died.
And they won their case?
It never got to trial. We settled, made big headlines. $10,000 for each girl, medical bills for life, which wasn't all that long for some of them. You know, this is where she sat. one of the fastest girls on the floor. In the courtroom that day, I caught her looking at me with so much anger in her eyes.
Oh, Papa.
I looked away, but afterwards, on the steps, I had a chance to speak with her.
Well, what did you say?
I couldn't speak.
He was afraid to speak.
I had my chance and I couldn't speak.
That man was afraid of me.
How could I make her understand that I never meant for any of this to happen, that I had responsibilities to my investors?
People didn't know about things like that then. Science just wasn't as advanced the way it is now.
I think back on those days. Coming up the steps to this room, filled with light and chalky, like an old schoolroom. And all those girls, schoolgirls, really, bent to the task. Their delicate little hands moving so quickly, the way no man could. And their brushes, they flew from the dials to the paint, to the dials, to their lips. You know, try as I might, Harriet, try as I might, I can't remember their faces. Never saw their faces.